Hello, and thank you for joining us for an introduction to Convention of States. Who decides? That's the most important question we're asking tonight. I want to introduce two people, Chet Grant and Robert Shea Bonhag. There's Chet and
Hello,
Shea.
everyone.
They will
Hey
be
there.
your hosts tonight. I will be in the background. I would invite you to please send us your comments, send us your questions. Wherever you're watching in from, type them right into the chat box. We'll see them. I'll get them put on the screen. And when we've got questions, I'm going to turn it over to the guys. Like right now, this is it. This is your show. Take it away.
Okay, thanks, Robin. Okay, Shea, maybe let's start off. What brought you into Convention of State? What attracted you to it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I've been involved with Convention of States about 4 years now. And someone invited me to a meeting, and I attended, and I thought, hey, this is a good idea. Washington is broken. We need to do something. And they started talking about the kind of positions you could do. And I thought, well, state writer, I could write. So why don't I do that as a volunteer? And so I've been doing that ever since. And it's been great fun in working with the team, getting Convention of States focused. And I've been writing a number of different topics. I particularly enjoy the federal fritters piece, which gets into how we miss spending our money in Washington. So I've been spending a lot of time on that, and but I really like where Convention of States is going, because truly Washington is broken. We got to do something.
Yeah, that's great, Shea. It's just, my story is similar. I got drawn to, I think, with something I saw online, and I just, as I begin to see it repeatedly, I begin to think, this makes an awful lot of sense. I got myself to the point where I just couldn't sit on the sidelines anymore. I felt like I needed to do something. So that kind of got me going and got me started. So, and I think, one of the things about what we do, especially with things the way they are today, I think we connect up and we link into at least the events and activities, a lot of them that are going on in Washington, D.C. today. Whether you agree with the methodology or not is beside the point, okay? Chet's perspective here is, we've been in this country since our framers created the Constitution. We've been going back and forth as a country on, how to go about this, how relevant is the Constitution. The progressive movement since its inception has been discounting the value of the Constitution almost from day one, and it has just accelerated with time. Up to the point where in the early 1900s, 1930, thereabouts, people like Woodrow Wilson and both of the Roosevelts and Dewey, as progressives, vigorously discounted the need and the value of the Constitution, thinking and believing, and all progressives believe this, believing that the whole is more important than the individual, okay? And so we've been under attack from almost day one, and it has just accelerated and ramped up. It's people who take an oath of office talk about protecting the Constitution against foreign enemies and domestic. Okay, so it's they say it differently, but that's the gist of what they do when they take office. Is they swear to protect the country and the Constitution internationally as well as domestically, and that's really important today. So what we'll do here is we'll go through and we'll talk about some of the drivers of the behind calling for a Convention of States. what's the need to do this? And as we do that, you have to sort out, symptoms from root causes, I like to say, okay? There's a lot of things going on in this country that are symptomatic of a system that's gone wrong, okay? So we've got to be able to sort through the drivers. We'll certainly talk about the process, the Article 5 process and what it takes to make it happen. And then we'll finish up with what the audience and the members who are with us tonight, what is it that you can do, like Shea and I have done at the outset here. So anything else you want to add, Shea, before we get on with this?
No, it's really good. One of the other programs that we ran was the whole issue of the Constitution and what does it stand for. And I think the reality of reading the Constitution, and I encourage all the listeners to do that. It's pretty simple stuff, by the way, and it's pretty easy to read. But it really envisioned a limited government. It did not envision a monstrous government that we have today. And so if we think about what the founders really built, is they were trying to figure a way to have a limited national government with most of the decisions being made by the states or local entities. And we've drifted from that. And the Convention of States is really aimed at trying to get that back into some kind of balance.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. It's when I was working full time, I had the extraordinary opportunity to work with a man by the name of W. Edwards Deming, Dr. Deming.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I got to work with him personally. It was a real honor to work with the man. But one of the things he talked about was constancy of purpose. Okay?
Yes, right.
And so, to my way of thinking, we've lost some of that going forward from what our framers intended to what we have now. We've lost that constancy of purpose. It's been really diluted, almost. It's not been obliterated, but it's much, much less today than it was from what the framers intended for us to do.
So I'd like to talk, not now, but about what you've done with Dr. Deming, because he and I did a project together as well. So it's really,
you did.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk offline.
Yeah, Mercy Hospital in Chicago, unbelievable.
Okay,
project.
yeah, cool.
Okay,
Great.
yeah.